Hi, Total Recapped here. Today we will be going through the events of the 1988 comedy fantasy movie Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton. Warning, this video contains spoilers, so watch at your own risk. Now let's get right into the movie. In a sleepy little town in New England, we meet Barbara and Adam Maitland, a couple who have chosen to take a vacation by staying at home. They live peacefully and happily in a house in Connecticut. After deciding to celebrate their vacation at home, they give gifts to each other and also share a beautiful romantic moment. Meanwhile, they hear horns beeping outside their house. And peeping downstairs, they find Barbara's cousin, Jane Butterfield, coming to visit them. Jane is a real estate agent who tries to entice them to sell the house, since it seems too big for just a couple. Jane also informs them she has a very good deal for the house, which would give them a big profit. The Maitlands, however, reject her pleas and head to town. On the way home from a hardware store, they swerve to avoid a dog, and Barbara uncontrollably moves the steering wheel, which makes it difficult to control the car. Ultimately, they crash onto a bridge and fall inside the river, where they drown. Unaware that they are now dead, the Maitlands return to the house, unsure how they got back so quickly. They forget everything about the accident. Adam decides to go back outside to retrace their steps, but finds himself on a strange desert planet inhabited by striped sandworms. He gets frightened and Barbara immediately pulls him inside the house. When he returns to the house, Barbara shows him the mirror. Barbara says he was gone for 2 hours and shows him a book that she found on a table. Handbook for the Recently Deceased. After reading the book, it is revealed that they have died in a car accident and are trapped inside their own house as the spirits. After their accident, Jane gets a golden opportunity to sell their house to the Dietz's family from New York City. Charles, a former real estate agent, his second wife Delia, and his teenage goth daughter Lydia shift into the house. The Maitland couple does not like their house being sold. They don't prefer anyone staying in their house even after their death. While Charles wishes for a quiet respite from the hustle and bustle of New York, Delia can't stand the simple life and hires a decorator and interior designer named Otho to make the house more livable and more to her taste. She invites Otho to visit the house and gives him the house tour to help him plan for the renovations required. When Delia gives the house tour to Otho, Barbara and Adam try to scare them, but they fail. Despite their multiple attempts, they are unable to scare a single person because no one can see them. Barbara gets frustrated and decides to go out of the house, even though Adam tries to stop her. As soon as she steps out of the house, she falls into the same sand desert where Adam had fallen before. She also finds numbers of sandworms longing towards her. With great difficulty, Adam saves her from the sandworms and brings her back into the house. After coming back to the home, they are sad to have discovered that they are captured inside the house forever. They take refuge in the attic where Adam locks the door. The next morning, seeing their house being renovated, the couple looks for various ways to scare the living people. Charles is unhappy about the renovation and is exhausted due to the activities going around. At the same time, Delia is busy managing and instructing the workers. On the other hand, Lydia is seen taking pictures with a camera. Suddenly, when she turns her camera towards the attic of the house, she finds the Maitlands looking at her from a window. She is surprised to see them. Meanwhile, Jane arrives at the place and Lydia asks her about what happened to the previous owners of the house. Jane replies that the previous owners drowned in the river and were very near to her. After that, Jane hands a master skeleton key to Lydia. She then asks Lydia to hand it over to her father Charles. Jane also mentions that the key can open any door of the house. After finding the skeleton key, Lydia tries to open the door of the attic where Barbara and Adam are staying and planning. As the couple finds someone is trying to open the door, they try to stop her. As Adam and Barbara foil Lydia's attempts, a TV in the attic comes to life, advertising the services of someone named Beetlejuice, who claims to be able to scare the living and introduces himself as a bioexorcist. But the couple decides to reread the book before asking him for his help. Consulting the handbook, Adam creates a door on the wall. After knocking the door 3 times, it opens and takes him and Barbara to a waiting room in the afterlife, filled with others who have met their rather gruesome fates. They are shown to a special room which reveals their home after it has been redecorated by Delia and Otho. It is here that they are introduced to their caseworker Juno, who berates them for their haunting methods and cautions them not to take the advice of the person they saw on the television named Beetlejuice. She also mentions that Beetlejuice was once an assistant to her and was a troublemaker. She strongly suggests that they take help from Beetlejuice only if they want to get into more trouble. In the next scene, Lydia enters the home of the Maitlands and sees their miniature design and also the handbook. She returns to her father and tries to explain about everything, but Charles asks her to let him relax and requests her to help her mother Delia. Returning to the house, Adam and Barbara dress up in sheets to try and scare Charles, but he scolds Adam, thinking him as Lydia. Then Maitland's couple try to scare Delia, but their attempt fails again. Annoyed with the spooky noises, Lydia finds them, and the two are amazed when they remove the bed sheets and realize she can see them. Lydia reveals that she found their handbook and found a passage that explains how live people ignore the strange and unusual, something she considered herself to be. The Maitlands couple share their story with Lydia, and the three of them become friends. The Maitlands enlist Lydia to get the help of the Dietzes out of their house, but no one believes her. Not sure what to do, Barbara notices something in the model of the town in the attic. A glowing light around a small grave that appears to belong to Beetlejuice. She says his name 3 times, and she and Adam are whisked into the model, where they unearth Beetlejuice's body. Beetlejuice appears and starts acting very weird. He starts jumping around and also kisses Barbara. Once they've done so, they regret it, as Beetlejuice is a rather crazy, uncouth, and insane ghoul. Turned off by his personality, they resolve to scare the Dietzes themselves. At a dinner party Delia throws to show her sculptures and other art pieces, the Maitlands again try to scare them. They try to make Delia and Charles dance unwillingly, but the entire group ends up singing the Banana Boat song, and the shrimp dish in front of them turns into grasping hands. The Maitlands think they've finally succeeded, only to find that their antics have actually amused the Dietzes. After confirming that there are ghosts in the house, instead of being afraid, the people seem to be amazed and enjoy the incident. The Dietzes send Lydia to bring them down, and when they refuse, everyone clambers to the attic, demanding that the Maitlands show themselves. They find no one there, but Charles is entranced by the miniature of the town and finds it could be a great business plan for earning money. Meanwhile, Otho finds and cleverly takes the handbook of the deceased. Leaving the attic, Charles feels that there's a lucrative business venture just waiting to happen. However, his cheerfulness turns to horror as Beetlejuice transforms into a large snake, freaking out the family by knocking Otho down the stairs and dropping Charles to the floor below. Beetlejuice then tries to scare Lydia, but she shouts to stop it, thinking that it is done by the Maitlands. Barbara is not pleased to see all this and manages to call the snake off by uttering Beetlejuice's name 3 times. Lydia is distraught, thinking that the snake was the Maitlands intending to do more than just scare them. Beetlejuice is also angry as Barbara interfered in his professional work, which he started thinking that they had a deal locked. After some time, Beetlejuice is attracted toward a whorehouse which is constructed just in the miniature design of Adam. The Maitlands are brought before Juno again, who takes them to task for breaking a number of rules, having photos taken of themselves, letting Beetlejuice out, and letting Otho get a hold of the handbook. Juno also mentions that she had created the whorehouse to distract Beetlejuice. Juno encourages the Maitlands to work harder to scare the Dietzes, and Barbara and Adam contort their features into grotesque forms. However, Barbara has some apprehensions as she likes Lydia. Barbara is upset to be trapped in the house for a long time and trying the insane tricks to scare the Dietzes, so the couple decides to let the Dietzes stay in the house. Meanwhile, Lydia grows so upset that she writes a suicide letter. After writing multiple times that she is alone, and she goes to the attic to say goodbye to the Maitlands, where she encounters Beetlejuice in the model. Beetlejuice tries to convince her that he can help her find the Maitlands if she says his name 3 times. Lydia is almost tricked into saying this until she realizes that Beetlejuice was the snake and doubts if he can really help her find the Maitlands. Just then, Adam and Barbara appear and Lydia explains what was about to happen. Lydia, feeling distraught to be living, tells him of her wish to be dead. Barbara talks her out of these thoughts and tells her that they've decided to not scare the family and allow them to stay. Just then, Otho and Charles appear in the attic. Lydia and the Maitlands hide. Otho and Charles carry Adam's model of the town downstairs, where they give Charles' business associate, Maxie Dean, an overview of Charles' plan to turn the town into a paranormal-themed attraction. They decide to make the design into a supernatural theme park, especially for the tourists. As Maxie Dean was called for making investments in the presented idea, he asked for the proof of the ghost and the supernatural power. Charles also requests that Lydia produce the Maitlands for their guests, but when she refuses, Otho explains that he is away. Using the handbook and the Maitlands' wedding clothes, Otho performs a seance that forces the couple to appear before them. However, this causes the Maitlands to deteriorate, their forms reverting to their decaying corpses. Otho realizes that he has performed the exorcism rites instead of calling them normally. Lydia is afraid to see them in the condition as they have become good friends by this time. Frantic, Lydia rushes to the attic in front of the design model and sees Beetlejuice in the graveyard. She begs him to help her. Beetlejuice refuses to help her but agrees on the condition that Lydia marries him because it was the only way Beetlejuice could come to the human world and return back whenever he wants. Lydia is very much attached to the Maitlands and is devastated to see them in the condition, so she agrees to this. After that, Beetlejuice enters into the scene in a heroic manner and saves the Maitlands from Maxie Dean and his family along with Otho. However, Beetlejuice then holds Lydia to her word and calls a scary minister and tries to marry Lydia. He also holds Charles and Delia hostage as witnesses as Otho escapes. Both Adam and Barbara struggle to stop Beetlejuice, who sends Adam into the model and Barbara to the sandworm planet. Through a joint effort, Barbara manages to return on a sandworm, which gobbles Beetlejuice and saves Lydia before being married to him. In the aftermath, the Maitlands and the Dietzes co-occupy the house, and Lydia is much more cheerful in her new environment. She is shown to have started attending the school and interacting with new friends. Beetlejuice is also shown waiting his turn in the afterlife room. He gets a token number and finds it to be at very last. He is sitting next to a witch doctor who is waiting for her turn to enter into the world next. He cleverly tries to exchange his token number with her. The movie ends as the witch doctor gets angry and diminishes the head of Beetlejuice. And that was my recap of the movie. Hope you enjoyed it. Now comment on what your favorite part was, and make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, take care and goodbye. Take care